Hello my beautiful creatives, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissie B, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm so excited to be able to share with you my first ever playtime in my new altered book. Now, full disclosure, I have never done this before. I do not know what I'm doing. I have, you know, I'm an art journaler. I've been an art journaler for a really long time, mixed media artist, but I have never worked in an altered book, and I'm a little bit scared. So, with that said, I have been watching videos rather voraciously, trying to figure out how to do this. Like, is there special things that I have to do? And I am taking a lot of instruction from the lovely artist over at Little Raven Ink. So I will leave a link down to her channel. She does something, I believe she uses a sewing book. I don't know if it's Reader's Digest, but it's an old sewing book. And I actually went and looked for that book because I remember having that book in my house growing up. And I remember being so fascinated by all of the sewing instructions that I was that kid who would sit in my room with this ginormous sewing book, and I would just flip through the pages just oohing and awing over all of the illustrations and all of the instructions, even though I never learned to sew. However, I went out and searched for this at my local Goodwill, and I found an illustrated guide to gardening, which is near and dear to my heart as well, because my husband, the first half of our marriage, we've been married 22 years, and the first half of our marriage, he was a landscaper. So we were always into gardening and, you know, being out in the yard and playing with all that kind of stuff. So I thought this would be really, really cool. He's a big part of my life, so I thought it'd be a fun way to like incorporate him into my art project somehow. So the very first thing that I did is I went through, you can see that the book is kind of narrow here, and that is because I went through the book to prep it by going a few pages. I went a few pages in, and then I ripped out one page, and then I turned the page and ripped out another page. I made sure that when I was ripping out the pages, I did not want to mess with the binding, the actual spine, the actual way the books were bound, the pages were bound together. So I made sure to leave this little flap for every single page that I tore out. The only exception to the rule of turn one page, tear one out, turn one page, tear one out, is if I found an image that I really, really, really wanted to somehow incorporate. And I did that through the entire book. So it made the book much thinner. So that way, unlike my soul book where alligator is really Jai-Hurricane, and I'm sure that so probably will alligator as well, you know, sit rather wide. I wanted this to kind of try to be able to sit like a normal book. Let's get started. I'm just going to pick one magazine because I know that to do this is going to take me all frickety day, okay? And I don't want you to have to sit and watch me do this all day. So I'm going to grab one. Which one do I want? I'm going to grab this uppercase, and we're just going to tear some images out. And then once I found a handful, I'm going to just get started, and I'm going to show you how I am going to start in my altered book. So I've got quite an assortment of imagery here, and I think I probably should let you know that when I'm flipping through my magazines, I am essentially just looking for a few things. I'm looking for words that strike me. I really love text. I have really bad handwriting, so I really like to find different kind of text. I like different fonts. I was looking for like this questions for the queen. I thought that'd be really fun. I think I'm not really thinking very much when I'm doing this. I'm just flipping through, and anything that kind of strikes my fancy, I'm like, yes, that goes. Like, I just love this imagery of this couple who obviously love each other, at least in my head. So I love that, very sexy. Nasty Women Unite, I love that. Just colors that struck my fancy, images that I really, really enjoyed. Anything to me that somehow represents me. I love this, Release Your Inner Goddess. Love, love that. Just different pictures, colors. I really like bright, vivid. I think I'm gonna use that side. So I just found anything that I thought would really like feed into that need that I have to like just have color. And I think subconsciously everything that I choose represents me, just because I'm not really thinking too much about it. It's a very intuitive kind of process. And I'm just kind of laying it down. So because I'm a little, again, full disclosure, I am a little bit nervous about doing this. I am worried about the pages getting super, super wrinkled, which is ironic because if you watch my soul book videos, you'll know that I work in a sketchbook, an inexpensive sketchbook, and that has a tendency to wrinkle too. So I'm not sure really why I'm being so like nervous about it. It's not a process that should be nerve-wracking at all, but for some reason I've kind of made it nerve-wracking. The other thing I wanted to make sure that you knew I had on hand is I have a bunch of washi tapes on hand. So I have 4 tubes in front of me that I'm going to use. It's just a random assortment of washi tapes. I also have a ton of washi tapes hanging next to me. You probably, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have a bit of a washi tape addiction, but I don't feel it's a problem, so I'm not going to 12 steps for it. So I'm just gonna open some of these and set them out in front of me so that they are at the ready to use. I find that as I'm washi shopping, I love getting them at Michael's. These are the Reflections collections, and usually can find them on sale, which I love because Mama likes a really good deal, because I do have quite an art supply addiction, and I'd be totally broke if it wasn't for the fact that I look for sales, watch for coupons, and yeah. So all I'm gonna do, grab a pair of scissors. I'm going to just kind of rough cut some of these out. Again, I'm not gonna think too much about what I'm doing, except if I like it, it can go down. And I'm gonna work on a few pages at a time, just because that's kind of the way that I art journal anyways. I don't generally do an art page from beginning to end. And you probably know that if you've been watching my channel at all. And I don't mind that. It makes your pages like come together very organically, which I appreciate. I will probably just fast forward through a lot of the cutting, unless I'm talking, of course, which I have a tendency to do a lot of in my videos because I'm a rambler. But I'm not going to make you sit and watch me go through this entire cutting process. That can be very, very, very tedious, I think. I am going to use glue stick to glue my pieces down. I'm trying to think in my head if I can keep this as dry as possible, the pages as dry as possible. I'm thinking maybe then it won't wrinkle quite as bad. I don't know. Again, I'm just making this up as I'm going. I have no idea what I'm doing. But isn't that kind of what the whole process is about? It's just about playing. And that's what, when I come to do these videos, especially my altered book videos, my intention is just to basically come and play and let you watch my process. I don't know if I'm actually going to teach you anything, except to just kind of let you watch my process. I am more than happy to help you in any way that I possibly can. You know, information-wise, just ask your questions and put them in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to help. But yeah, I just want to get some images down and cover some of my background. One of the things that I am looking forward to doing, and I will probably do a lot more, oops. See, this is why I don't glue stick on my book, because I will get glue on the page. So, let's see, I'm just going to put this right over that. That's not where I wanted to put it originally, but that's where I'm going to put it now, because that is where my glue went. So I have a little scrap piece of deli paper here that I'm going to use to do all of my gluing on. That also makes sure that I get the glue all the way to the edges of all of my images. I love this typewriter, it's very cool. Now when I tear out my pictures, or when I tear out my pages, I generally have like one image on there that has kind of rocked my boat. And it's the image that I'm like, okay, that's the one I'm gonna use. But because these magazines are so cool, and because there's such a wealth of like great ideas and great images and great, you know, colors and whatnot, I want to flip my pages over before I move on, so that way I don't potentially miss something that could have been on the other side. And then these all go into the recycle pile. Now something I'm really loving that I never noticed before is that this magazine has these cool borders at the tops and bottoms of some of the pages. I thought this would be a really cool way to get some color in my book. Especially since I am not adding my paint at the start like I normally do. So I think that I'll just, you know, keep painting with magazine images, which I have done that in the past. I just didn't think about doing it as like my standard practice. So let's see how that goes. I'm gonna dig down a little bit deeper. So I have this, which I think is very cool, but I don't want it to be one big image. I want to kind of cut it up. I love the colors of this. Orange for me is a very happy color, so I'm a big fan. I think this process would be so much fun to just come into the art studio or wherever it is you're doing your art and turning on some really good happy music and just kind of dancing while you're doing it. I think it will also help with the idea of doing it without planning, without any forethought. Just kind of making art for the sake of making art. Let's see if I can help you see a little bit more. I'm not sure why, but I feel a little more trepidatious than I normally am when I'm art journaling. I don't know if it's because, well, I know it's because I've never done this before. I don't really know what exactly to expect. I don't think there's a way to actually mess it up. It really is truly like your own idea of what should go where. I love this lady. I love this lady's hands, believe it or not. I'm not sure how fussy cut how much I want to fussy cut this hand out. Do I want to cut it out all the way, or do I leave the white around it? But again, this is not about getting into your head and thinking, this is just about playing. So I will do whatever the heckaroni I want. I guess it's weird that there's kind of a floating hand there, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna dig down a little bit in my stack and just grab something else. Let's see. I've got to move some stuff. What a mess. Did your art studio ever get like that, where you're like on a roll and then you have so much stuff around you, you're like, oh crap. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. I also haven't decided, I know that this book for me is basically making art for the sake of making art. But I don't know if I'm gonna actually journal in it or how I'm going to use it. Is it really, I don't know. I think we're just making this up as we're going, and I think I just need to keep reminding myself it's okay to play without a plan. It really is okay to play without a plan. Oh, this poor little guy only has 2 little pieces of paper on it. Let's see if we can fix that. Again, I think I really like the bright, vivid colors. I like the composition. I like that it kind of has a retro kind of feel to it. This image of these boxes, I love that. I love these 2 little images down here too. I'm gonna just cut these out just so I can have them. Now, I've just made a decision that I'm gonna share with you. When I'm looking at my magazine pages, sometimes it's just the color of something that I really like. And I just saw something that I really like the color of, and I really like the shape of, although it has text on top of it. So I normally would not use it. And that's this little guy right here. I love that it has like the scalloped edge or the pinking sheer edge, but it's got text on it. So I think I'm gonna use that anyways, because I can always cover up the text later. And I really do want to get as much bang for my buck out of these magazines as possible. And just because they've been around forever, at this point, they kind of feel a little bit like Friends. I've seen a lot of people use gel medium in these books, which I love gel medium, but I love gel medium on really high quality paper that does not curl or wrinkle. I don't know how I feel about gel medium on a book page. If you guys know of any really good YouTube people who do altered books or someone that I can go like take a peek at their videos and just get some ideas on how people do this, that would be really awesome. I don't know why, but I've made this very, very difficult in my head, even though I keep saying, okay, we're just playing, it's all good. But I would love to hear some of your ideas on who might be good resources to learn how to do. Do you know what's funny is I'm putting all these colors and images down into my book, and a lot of these are the same types of the way I color my art journal. It's very similar, so it's kind of ironic, I think. I really enjoy, and I might have said this in the past, but I really enjoy working on multiple pages at once, or knowing that, you know, giving myself permission that if I get stuck on any of my images, any of my spreads, any of my pages, then I give myself permission to stop what I'm doing and move on to the next page. Kind of don't know where I want that. It takes a lot of pressure off of yourself. And I'm all about making things as pressure-free as possible, especially art journaling. Art journaling to me should be super relaxing. It should be something that really is approached as a time of play. Anyways, I'm going to, this little flap that was left from tearing out a page, I'm just going to tape it down. Just because, well, because I want to, I guess. There's no real purpose for taping it down. I've also seen some YouTubers, they actually just glue the two pages together and sandwich that cut piece in between. Oh, I just put a hole in my page. Whoopsie. Yeah, so that's cool. I love this tape a lot, and I didn't realize how much I loved it until I started using it. I'm like, oh! Okay, we're gonna leave. Actually, we're not gonna leave you alone. Where do you go? You live there. I kind of audition my pieces and kind of move them around. I do want to tape that down, but I don't want to use the same tape as I had just used. And I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use pink. This one is pink with a nice bright fuchsia with a gold foil medallion on it. Okay, I'm going to try something. This is a Little Raven ink idea. She does not cut her images at the edge, which I still do, and I probably will always do. But she takes her images or washi or whatever it is she's doing, and she just folds it over. Now if I can get it to work, ooh, I just tore my book. It's okay. And it just adds just a tiny bit of color to the next page, which you can tell my pages are just going to be really colorful. That's just kind of the way I roll. And do we want to do anything more on this one? I realize as I'm doing this, I am going to have to get a lot more images out of these magazines that I have. I'm not going to go purchase anything new. I'm just going to use what I've got. I love this. Release your inner goddess. Amen, sister. Amen. And let's put you Where? I need something behind that. Ooh, I have not touched my Jane Davenport pad. Let me move it out of the way because I will topple things over. I really want this down, but I want there to be some kind of paper behind it, like a border of some sort. And because of who I am and because I don't want to waste, I'm probably going to start with what I've already got available in my scraps to start. Now I know this is going to be crooked because it's me. I don't cut straight lines terribly well, at least from eyeball. I don't eyeball straight lines very well. Or maybe I do. Look at that. I'm really just painting with paper. Isn't that weird? And then I'm gonna snip you there. And we'll just cut you the rest of the way. So how do I want this? I like this orange and blue and pink showing here. And I'm thinking about kind of staggering it a little bit. And all this background stuff, we can cover all this background stuff. And then I want the goddess, Release Your Inner Goddess on top of it. That's what I think I'll do. You know, I went to North Carolina recently. I was there for 2 weeks for a business trip. And I brought myself some art supplies because, as you can imagine, I would go cuckoo bananas without my art. So I always like take a stash with me so that I can do something while I'm out journaling. This time I did a lot of journaling, and I'm working on playing around with the idea of making a creative journal, a creative bullet journal. So I did that a lot while I was gone. And one of the things that I discovered by accident was that I have an entire set of the Tombow markers, the double-ended markers, and I love them because they're just such gorgeous color. And I like them in my bullet journal because they don't bleed or ghost, which I really appreciate that a lot. But what I did not realize, and what I learned while I was out, was that they're water soluble. So I was able to use them as watercolor, which was way, way, way cool. I love that so much. It made me super, super happy. These little funky, what are they called? Funky tarot cards. I love these. They're so cute. Just like the bright, vivid colors on them. I have a feeling that this process, I can do this process all day. Okay, let's wash you a little bit. What do we want for you? I have a lot of blue on this page, and I really kind of like this Moroccan-y blue. Now this is where it's really difficult to not pull out every single art supply, because you can. When I do something on my art journal page, at least on this page, I'm kind of looking at, I like, you know, I try to put the same elements. I sprinkle it around the page. It's kind of like decorating. If you introduce a new color, you want to kind of introduce it all throughout the room and not just in one or two places. It kind of integrates it into your page or your room a little bit better. So that's kind of what I'm doing in my head. I'm thinking like, okay, where does this live? I have this really cool purple. I love these purple little accents that are kind of peeking through. I have these purple feathers. I'm going to use this. Put a little bit of that down. And as you can see, I really like to layer them a little bit. I don't know, it makes it feel like it's purposeful versus an afterthought. Like I'm just putting washi tape down after the fact. It kind of incorporates the imagery into whatever it is that already lives on the page. And again, there's no real plan to this. I'm just playing. That always makes me sad when washi tape dies. And this is a new washi tape, so I'm not sure why that one is no bueno, but it's no bueno. Okay, maybe that's a sign. Maybe that page is done. Now let's finish this page, and I think I will be done for this video because I can see that I can do this all day, and I can also tell that this could get really long very, very quickly. Now I'm gonna take some of this color. Now you see this is just like random scraps. There's really nothing on this except for the color blue, which I love. I really, really, really love it. And I want to glue it down onto this page. I also really like how these are cut into funky geometric looking shapes. Very kind of, it totally was a mistake, but I think it's gonna look very purposeful once I get it down. This has some like little, looks like it might be a bundle of sage and some stones. I love that too. Very cool. I'll see if I can glue these without tearing them, because I am notorious for tearing my images I want to paste down. And I don't remember which way I was holding this, so I'm going to just play with it again. I think that was about right, wasn't it? I really am just painting with paper. I'm sure I will come add other mediums to this after, you know, later on. Right now we're just going to stick with some paper. Ooh, that one's sticky. I've got glue all over my fingers. Love it. Now let's see what else we got. We got some hot pink here. I'm going to use some of that hot pink because I love it. I'm not going to think too much about this. Remember, I'm just playing. This is just about like the process. I love this green strip. I'm kind of using these strips like washi tape. I want to tear this side and then I want to cut it down. And I'll read to you what this little thing says because I love it. Love it. It says an inspirational creative career thriving on variety, which is what I want. We'll put you there, I think. Whoops. Okay. I glued the wrong side of that one, so we're putting it down anyways. I'm trying to make sure that the ends don't line up. Either the top of the pink and this orange, or the bottom of this orange and this orange. I want them to be staggered. And I think we're almost done with this page. I want to add some washi. I definitely want to tape that little guy down. I have this funky, I don't even know what it is. It looks like it might be, I don't know. It's like 70s chic pattern. Let's see if I can do this time without tearing the page behind it. There we go. Little touch of color there. Then, kind of going on with that orange. Actually, no. Change of plans. I'm going to do this one, this multicolored blobby polka dotty one. It kind of makes all of the different colors on my page make sense. Like they're somehow purposeful. And I put it down crooked, which is very typical me. Anything else? We have a lot of blue, we have a little bit of purple, we have some green. I also have this tube of washi that I wasn't going to use, but now I'm gonna. It's Tim Holtz, and it's got a lot of like words on it. So I want to just put a few words down. A few strips of words down, actually. There, that's where I want it. Exactly there. Because that's where it's stuck. So that's where it's gonna live. And because I can, I'm just gonna put 2 little strips down. Okay, so really I got 3 pages started. They're not complete. I think they're really kind of fun backgrounds though. I love those a lot. I love the colors. I think if my whole altered book goes like this, I think I'm gonna really love it a lot actually. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some ideas on what you can do in your own altered book. And again, super great big kudos to Little Raven Ink. I'm going to link her down below because I love her. She's phenomenal. Love her energy and her spirit. I think I've spoken about her in the past. But yeah, I hope that this is something that you might want to try with me. You know, get out your own altered book. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will have more to come. I will probably post this video once a month is what I'm suspecting. I'm looking to post at least once every week, if not twice a week, but I want to really keep my content varied because I have so many different things that I want to be playing in, so I want to be able to share all of that variety with you. I'm sure that you can be the same way, you know, a little bit ADD if you're anything like me at all, and I have a feeling you are because you are here. So thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, bye for now.